live. As you can see, I stopped to smell the roses literally tonight when I went for my walk. I am here in Corpus Christi, Texas. I am a realtor and I am a woman of faith. So I love to share my faith, but most of you I know are trying to get real estate information. So I'm trying to give that to you. We have a very competitive real estate market here and all over Texas and many other states right now. We've been told that there are people fleeing high tax and poorly run cities and states to come to cities and states that are more friendly to business, to affordable housing, etc. Although, as the demand goes up, the affordability goes down. But today I wanted to address the topic of how bad do you want it? Okay, this applies to anything in life really, right? But tonight I'm discussing when you buy a home, what's it worth to you? And when you sell a home, what are you willing to sell for? What are you willing to take? How badly do you want it gone? So let's start with the buying. I had just closed on a house from my Facebook, or try to post it on my Facebook regularly. So Jacqueline O'Neill in Corpus Christi, Texas, Corpus Christi Realty Group, Jackie O Group. Okay, so anyway, I just closed on a house, and these buyers are out of state, and they had to kind of do their homework before they even came to Corpus. Okay, so we got connected through a referral. An agent called me and said, hey, I have some clients that I really want to make sure they're taking care of. They're wonderful people, and looks like I can trust you, and would you please take care of them? So what we started doing is I started explaining to them the various locations, what to expect in various locations, different size homes, different condition of home, different age of home, small lot, big lot, yard, no yard, stuff like that. So all that to be said, when this particular property came up on the market, I was like, this is it. It was a large home. It was like 3,000 some square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Wait, 3.5 baths. 3.5 baths. And had a pool, had an 1.5 acres, and it was just like really what they had been talking about wanting in the location and school district that they wanted. And so I was trying to get a hold of them. All that to be said, when I finally got a hold of them, we have a big time change between me and them. They're like, yeah, that looks perfect. That looks like it. And within maybe 6 hours, the first day it was listed, there were already 2 offers in on it. And because of our time change, I called the realtor and I was like, hey, I'm going to write an offer. Can I go in the morning? And she says, yeah, I have 2 offers in. So the next morning I had already prepared the offer and everything, and got everything ready. And I went to the house and I just said to them, I said, guys, you know what's out there. You know that if you buy a new home, same size, with 1/3 of the land without a pool, you're going to spend the same amount of money. And so I just said, I want you to make a decision about how much you're willing to spend on this house. In this case, it was listed for $445,000. And I said, I want you to offer your best shot, that if you get turned down, you'll feel good about it. Like, you won't have any regret that you didn't offer higher. Like, you were just happy with, I'll offer this. And if I have to pay 10, 20 grand more than the appraisal, I'm okay with that. Meaning, in financing, you'll usually get a house, and let's say that listing price is $445,000, right? And let's say you offer $445,000. And we tend to list at the higher end of the price point. So, but we usually list it right to get the right price. But anyway, in this case, we offered significantly more. We offered $469,000, and it was listed at $445,000. And I said, I want you to offer your best shot, at that you wouldn't look at me and go, oh, you pressured me. I regret offering that much. I shouldn't have offered that much. Oh, I don't want you to have regrets if your offer gets accepted and then start doubting that you shouldn't have spent so much. Yet at the same time, I don't want you to not offer as much as you would have and risk losing it, right? So the beauty of the situation is, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit, toot toot, right, honey? My husband's watching, is that I know the market very well. And I knew how rapidly the market was changing. And I was like, this house has to at least appraise for 460, 465, right? So I was thinking they might need to bring 9,000, maybe 4 to 9,000 to close, right? If it didn't appraise at the 469. Okay, but I know the homes, I know what sells, I know what lists, I know the market, right? So I could advise them and say, look, guys, I would be shocked if it doesn't appraise for what we're paying for it, but if it doesn't, you're okay. And they were like, we're okay with it. We'll bring an extra 4, 9, 10 grand to close if we need to. Okay, the good news is I was right. Guess what it appraised for? 485. Okay. Why is that important? Well, I'm saying it's important because sometimes people get realtors and they're like, oh, I don't want to pay, or I don't think they're worth it, or I don't, and maybe some people that have enough real estate experience may or may not need one, but especially in a fast market, you really want a realtor that knows what they're doing. You really want a realtor that knows the market. You really want a realtor that knows how to negotiate. You really want a realtor that has strong relationships with excellent lenders who know how to package your loan well so that we don't have hiccups in the midnight hour or ever. We had a couple of hiccups on this, but it was just kind of weird stuff. But we were ready to close about 10, even I think 2 weeks early, we were ready to close. In this market, that's kind of crazy. So that's when you buy a home. Now let's go to the listing side, okay? I had another house listed. It was listed at the top of the market, and we knew what we were doing. It wasn't like I said, oh yeah, listed at this crazy high price and, to their detriment. I would not want to do that to them because you hurt your clients if you overprice a home, because then it sits on the market and you lose potential buyers, right? They won't see your home because if it's 10, 20 grand higher than it should be, you're missing a bunch of buyers, right? But we were likening this home to a new construction, and so we priced it pretty much at a new construction. And the truth be told, it was better than a new construction. It had more upgrades than a new construction. It had the grass added. It had a better, some higher fence. There were just a lot of things about this home that the doors were better, the sinks were better, the hardware was better. It was just tile throughout. It was a great home. And interestingly, people were concerned about the value because comparable homes were selling for 40 grand less. And so basically, in the end, they realized that, their home is a beautiful home, and they just figured they'd stay put because they're not quite sure if they're going to move, and they thought they might, but they're not. So they just said, we're going to take it off the market, because they weren't willing to drop the price to, let's say, 445, 450, right, for this house, even though, they had purchased it for significantly less a couple years before. It wasn't worth it to them. Whereas with some other people, we kind of tested the market on another listing I had, and we just weren't getting a lot of showings, and people were like, well, it's okay, but it's too old, it's too dated. And so we dropped it 20 grand, and we're still not getting a ton of action. And so once again, I know the market. I know that right now, certain styles, color schemes, floor plans, countertop style, decoration, there's a lot of things that people really like right now. So even though it might be a great home, if it's not got the feel of the homes that people like now, they just kind of don't want to deal with it. And I always tell my clients, like, hey, I can help you I have some granite people that can come out. I've got some painters. We can do this pretty easy. Don't worry about it. I got some flooring guys. But most people don't want to deal with that. So, question is, how bad do you want it? Do you want to sell that home? If you're not getting a lot of showings, especially in a hot market, you're going to want to ask yourself, like, how bad do I want to sell? Do I want to miss opportunities to get buyers because I'm not in their price point? Or am I okay waiting until someone comes along and gives me an offer? Maybe I sell it for less, but I'd sell it for more than I would have if I dropped it. So I just tell people it's a gamble no matter what you do, especially when you're selling. Like, you could wait, you might get one that will spend that. You might wait, you might not, and it's going to cause your price to go down even further. They're going to think there's something wrong with it. Some people go, I don't know what's wrong with that house. Why isn't it not selling? So there's perceptions that are formed when houses are overpriced. They think the seller's irrational. They think, I'm not going to bother with it until I see a price drop. And but the ball's in your court. As long as you're informed properly, which I know I always inform people properly, like, look, we're listing it high. We're going to test the market. We know it's a good market. If you're going to test it high, now's the time. But don't test it too long. Give it a couple weeks and do your price drop and take it down. Because then you're going to hurt yourself if you don't listen to a realtor that you can trust. If you don't trust a realtor, then don't list with them. Make sure you're working with a realtor that you can trust, that when they say, hey, you need to drop the price, we need to do this, we need to do that, that you go, okay, and you can trust them. So, yeah, how bad you want it, what if you have to bring another 10, 15 to close to make it happen? What is the likelihood of finding another home like that? If you know the likelihood is very slim, then give it your best shot and be willing to put some money in there. I had another house though, and I'll leave you with this, listed at $369. We offered $390, and it appraised at $411. Once again, I had full confidence that we were going to be okay, but there were 6 offers on that. I know that's not 20 like some of these people, but know your market, know what it's worth to you. Don't be emotional. I had one gal offer, oh, I gotta have it. And it was listed at like $369. She offered, she's like, I'll offer $420. I'm like, no, no, we're not doing that. But then when we did offer, I said, okay, I'm willing to let you offer $411 because that's within reason. And then she backed out because she's freaked out and didn't get the money out in time and from investments. And, guys, if you're buying, get your money out of your investments. Don't wait till you go into contract and try to get your cash out of these investments. On a side note, that's not okay. Like, you have to have your money ready, because in this case, this person's money dropped like 40, 50 grand. And then they had to redo all their financing, which ended up costing them another $700 a month. Get your money on hand. Okay. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you later.